just going to share my screen. First of all, voila. So everybody sees my screen? Normally, yeah, I don't see head nodding, so.
Yeah, we do.
Any feedback? Okay, ça va. I hope you all are doing great. So first of all, for those who are joining the webinar, there's an Appro box coming your way. This is only for those who have joined, so not the subscriptions. They don't count. You have to join the webinar. So there's a little bottle of each, also for the non-alcoholic between you, and some kind of appetizers. So I really hope you enjoy it and have a nice New Year's Eve and Christmas. First of all, I want to talk about the facts and the figures, what we did last year. So, for example, on iPhone, in the last year, we did about 1,571 units. So Apple is really seeing growth really on Mac. They're really fun because DPP is really focusing on Mac, so and also on iPads. That are the two categories they really want to see growing, because there's no growth in B2B. This is why DPP is very important also for them. So we are going to have a new focus on DPP in the next year. That's very important. So if you have any feedback for me, or you are willing to specialize in some kind of solution, just let me know so we can talk about it. I really want to see a conversation between me, Tech Data, and the customer, the end customer, the reseller, what we can do to amplify the sales. Even though it's maybe a DEP solution, device enrolling program, which you have struggled before, maybe we can work something out. Maybe we can gather all the feedback together and just push it to Apple. Maybe we can work something out, like, for example, Sweden did for iPhone and iPad. They made an Apple configuration studio in their service center to configure all the iPhones that are needed to being placed in depth or manage device management. So, and I think we have to really be proactive on the DPP, because as you see, there's a lot of iPhones, there's a lot of iPads, there's a lot of Mac being sold the last past year. Of course, DPP has started in 2020. We only started with 4 resellers. Now we have more than a couple more. So it's not the right comparison, but you can see the results growing with DPP. We even saw DPP covering the market where, as an B2B AR has fallen. So because the DPP partner takes more time to explain the services, because a DPP partner asks Tech Data for some kind of support, because the DPP partner tried to sell a Mac and gave one to the customer with an explanation, with with a tryout for 30 days for the Mac. We have some new implementations about that that I will talk about later on. But I think this is really the key, because Apple B2B is now really small with some kind of resellers, and it's very important that we see growing in DPP and rolling out the paths. There's somebody not on mute, Avi. Could you just please mute them? If anybody wants to have a question, just raise your hand, and Avi will guide me, and you can unmute yourself, so I can answer the question. Just put your questions inside the chat box so I can answer them later on. So the DPP facts and figures. Now it's not a lot good to talk about this kind of days because there's an enormous supply issue. As you see, these are, for example, in red, all the back orders of tech data for customers, as well authorized resellers as education partners, enterprise partners, and the DPP partners. You also have the not authorized resellers, for example, retail stores. They are not allowed, if they are not allowed to sell within the DPP program, they are not allowed to sell Apple at all. So that are the not authorized resellers. So the colored ones, so the blue and the dark blue and the yellow, they are the supply within the next coming weeks. This is not big at this point because Apple is also closing the trimester. So you will receive the last shipment this week of Apple, and then we're all going out of stock, and we will have to wait until January to have the new iPhones, to have the new iPads. But they have promised that in general, the month January will be better. So if you have any supply issues or for a certain customer, you can contact our Apple team. But I really think the most kind of products will be delivered in January. So because there's not a lot of coming anymore, if you see with the supply. So the most of the supply now, there's a big deal on AirPods, and the APPC accessory is also other accessories. So that's kind of a turning point for the relation here. But the most supply is the most back orders are on iPads, iPhone, and Mac in general. So we have like almost 2 million open at this day. That's really good for the DPP channel, and we are hoping to supply you all within the next month. So next year there will be some changes, as I said. So the DPP conditions will remain the same. So there's no issue about that. For those, I know there are some resellers who ask me about a better price. I just want to tell you, we have like a 2% of margin on all the Apple products. It's not really enough for us to do something about pricing. So if you have maybe if you have a very large project, we can talk about it. But it's really hard these days to give, like, for example, I will give you like 1%. It will never happen because Apple doesn't support those bigger deals as other vendors do. So you will have a better or a bid price or something to support your deal. So every discount has to be taken off the margin of the data. So, but if you have large projects, just ask me. Maybe we can talk about it. Maybe we don't. We have to see which category it is. We have to see which kind of margin setup there is per customer, and then we could see, okay, maybe we can do something about it. I think it's really key to focus on CTO, so custom built orders, because it's ordered back to back. So it's really great for you to have some kind of feeling. This is only ordered for the DPP partners. And the other thing, we have developed an Apple CTO configurator within this CTO configuration side of InTouch. So you're able to configure your own only for the M1 processors, not for the Intels, but they are coming soon. And maybe if you have a larger amount, there's more to do about the pricing on CTO than we have on other products. So just keep that in mind. So there will be nothing changing on the DPP conditions. But we are aligning our focus with Apple on the growth with the DPP partners. So we will split next year's initiatives, and that means there will be a better focus on the best growing DPP partners. That means personal follow-up. We will give you marketing assistance. We will create roundtables with all the resellers. We will listen to your initiatives. We will see what we can do to support you. We already created a try and buy initiative that I will talk later on, but it's kind of exclusive. We will have also a bigger initiative, and then for the new resellers or those who are more opportunistic to buy Apple, they will also have access to their incentive. They will always have access to the marketing materials, to future webinars, and then most of the communication will run by the newsletter we will send every Sunday. So the DPP initiatives to talk about, which are running today. So we have a webinar. We had some webinar about Adobe Sign. We didn't have a lot of people who were joining the webinar, but I just wanted to say he will be uploaded into the website, to the microsite, to the Apple DPP microsite on InTouch, and you can watch the video from there on. It's a nice service to have, and maybe it allows you to sell more of the Apple products. So this will be the last webinar of this year, but we are thinking about every quarter giving you more materials, more webinars, more training sessions. So I love to hear what you need or what you think you need, so we can support that. Even though you may need some information about Apple, maybe we can also set something up. Maybe it's for how to push sales in SMB with Apple. So we can ask, for example, Christoph Rutten, who works at Apple as a service engineer, what are the key focus points to sell Apple? Other things could be about affordability solutions, like for Apple financing. How could we implement that, for example, and what could be a turning point? So maybe we can couple or do something with the next incentive and work something around. So it's really key to have your feedback so we can do something with it. We also have a task incentive running for you who know task that's tech as a service means leasing option, which means, for example, if you have 5 iPhones, 5 iPads, and you want to sell them to your customer, you can do that, for example, at 15 euros per month for the next 36 months. If you have some kind of ties contract between October and December, you will get the AirPods 3rd generation for free. So that's the gift from Tech Data to you. And there will be more incentives like this in the near future. So the other thing, we send out a newsletter about the microsites. So the free, you can see it here. It's a free personalized affordability microsite. So this is really for those who want to sell, for example, the task solutions or they did a new solution. So you can, for example, tell it's your own solution, and you can create some kind of buyback for your partner, and give them the opportunity to calculate their iPhone, their iPad, their Mac, and creating another opportunity to sell more or to upsell with the value they created to take back an old iPhone. Next, this is an example of the microsites. So for those who didn't receive the mail, or for those who want some more explanation about how this works, the site has four how do you say it, four frames. So the first of all is with some more explanation, and first some more explanation about TD Renew. Afterwards, you have the TD Renew calculator, which has all old products, and also the new products, as you see, the iPhone 13 Pro Max of Apple, which could also be calculated in for residential value. So the other thing is TAS. We have a nice explanation about the products and why you would like to do this. But we also have the calculator, and I think this is what converts people in turning their iPhone or discovering their iPhones or Macs through a monthly subscription. There's a huge advantage because the costs are low. The total cost of ownership is, I think, 75, 80%. You have to see which kind of category you use. And then, of course, I think for those who really want to sell or buy a new MacBook, it's a really high price for the 14. There's a high cost for the 14 and 16-inch. So I think this could also be an opportunity. One, for example, the customer has 10 new employees, to divide that cost per month and lowering the cost of total ownership. It will also give you the chance after these 36 months to give you a recurrence opportunity to sell another unit or to take back the MacBook and just sell something else or a new subscription. So easy money, you could say. The other one, this is really new. This is we're starting this next quarter. This will be also new on the micro side, new implemented. It's not in there today. This is the try and buy. So try and buy means you will have the chance to get a Mac of Tech Data with an M1 chip, not Intel, because that's almost AOL end of life for the most of the models. You can give this to your customer. Your customer can try this for at least 30 days, and then if it doesn't like the product, you can ask the data to get the product with a customer for free, get it back, and just get your money back from Tech Data. I will create a credit note for that. So it's really easy to use. Just say, for example, I want the 16-inch. You ask me or our Apple team. An invoice will automatically follow because that's the procedure, and I can't go around with that. But if your customer says, no, I don't want the product, and the product is, for example, being used, it's no kind of problem. We're just going to take it back. We will make it a credit note, and this will be your buying price. So no additional fees for shipment, for the usage. We'll cover it all. Of course, we want to see some deals coming out of it. So it's very important that we don't say, like, for example, the customer wants to loan a device. No, it's just, for example, a customer, they want like 5 Macs with a keyboard, with a mouse, with an Apple display. How could we help? Okay, we're seeing if they could test this within their own eco-structure, maybe the 14-inch is the best model. Just test it. If it all works fine, just keep it, and otherwise you can send it back to Tech Data. So this is really new. So that's about what's coming. of course, there's some new initiatives for the next quarter. That's also really important. We are again launching the data renew initiatives because there are some people who started with tech data renew, calling it their own services as they would like. This means there will be an on top on iPhone, on iPad, and on Mac starting next year. You will receive a newsletter about this as we communicate everything, but there will be a personal a touch for those above 20K to implement the service and just to talk about it. We're also thinking about, but we have to see what Corona does, about an exclusive event with, normally there are 3 webinars, and this time we are going to put this vertical training within the Apple HQ. This will be done by catering, so with catering. So it would be nice if you all could join. We will talk. We're thinking of talk about Jamf, Apple Care Solution, and the Apple Consultancy Network. But it could change. It could change still. So there's also a Jamf webinar in January, which you will receive invitation for. And we're also creating a work from home bundle. So I think it could be key to have a bundle for those who are starting with an iPhone, and 2 accessories for an iPad, and there's accessories for the Mac with the right accessories. This bundle will contain one pricing, and we'll have also a little discount on it. We're receiving a budget from Apple, so we'll send out more information about this soon. If you have any remarks or about this or offering this to your customers, just let me know. So maybe I can still adjust some things. The other one is a new sales incentive for 2 groups. So it's the first is really high. It's like it's 30K on Mac with a target, and you will get a nice present. And then the other thing will be the revenue on Mac and iPads, and that will be also a nice present. I see I've turned it. It's like AirTags are for the Mac and the iPad, and the AirPods are for the Mac incentive. So that will be launching also with the newsletters. So that's for next question. That's for next quarter. So I have some questions for you, and you could all unmute yourself, because this is really the presentation, but I just want to have some feedback of you. Are there some webinars which you are interested for, which you are in need for? The Apple Business Manager, Apple School Manager. Are there some accessories you would like to push or see with tech data? Is there any supply or stock issues? Of course, from your side, maybe you have seen some troubles with our Apple team, maybe you don't. Is there some kind of need or for joining an Apple Consultancy Network, an individual repair program as Apple have set up? Do you use your newsletters? Do you even receive the newsletters? And is there some kind of need for your training, for training your sales to cover the Apple business? So if you would like, you could unmute yourself.
Hi, Christoph. It's Jos.
Hi, Jos.
I was wondering if it's possible. I see the point 3, stock supplies issues. It would be nice if we could have a stock at take data for us.
And then you mean a DPP that's available?
Yes, that's available.
Yeah.
And also a guarantee that everything that's on stock, that we will take it. But most of the times it's a CTO. So this means we have to wait normally maximum 4 weeks. Now it is 8 weeks. And it would be nice if there is a stock available for the max.
Yeah. So we were thinking about putting up a virtual warehouse so we could divide the iPhones, the iPads, and the Macs into the normal supply with AR, APR, and then you will also have DPP. So we will accelerate the business of DPP, but it's really hard these days because almost all virtual warehouses are dry because of the supply chain. So I don't think today it is a solution because the orders come in our order allocation tool. So you have an order line per line, and it depends which dates in it. So our product managers who fill in the CIF file, order with Apple, they see your order within the. Sorry about that. They see your order within our order allocation tool. If we use a virtual warehouse now and we put on the stock into the virtual warehouse and we put your orders into the virtual warehouse, this would mean we are creating a lot of work at this point when the supply is too low to get stock in the virtual warehouse. But I think it's a very good point for next year when the promises are made by Apple to have a good stock supply again. Not sure how the future will look like, but I think it's a very good point to access a VW. So you always have like a buffer for DPP, and you can see the customer. Okay, it's coming. For example, tomorrow. But at the other hand, when we are creating the buffer, all the DPP accounts will be locked into the virtual warehouse, so there will be no ETA given on InTouch. So and that's the other problem. We can't give an ETA from InTouch from the pristine where you can see all of the products coming in if we use a virtual warehouse. So that's another problem that we would solve when we use the virtual warehouse. But it's a great idea. I was already asking this a half year ago, and I think there are some opportunities left when the supply are better. So
that's a point where we are losing sales.
Yeah,
because if they are looking to a website of an authorized reseller, then they can see directly how many or which models they're on stock, and they have only to push the button on it's being delivered tomorrow or the day after. So that's a point where you're losing a lot of sales.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I think we have to discuss this again in January when the stock is getting better. So, but for now on, with the supplies coming and the back orders, I don't think it's a good point to create the work and just see a dry or a VV without stock. So But
Okay,
if the supplier is turning good, I think this could be a benefit to you, because always the plan orders for retail, you will always have access on a certain amount of stock. So that could be a thing, that could be an opportunity. Yeah.
Christophe, may I interrupt? Dennis here. Concerning the availability of Apple products, we clearly understand that this is a global issue of availability of products. But on the other hand, as I said in the chat already, a better communication about pending back orders would be great, because as for now, we just have to rely on the information which we can find in InTouch in order management, but it's changing day by day. So it's not, you cannot trust the information that you can find there. So if there would be any other way to have more proactive information about pending back orders, that would be great. For example, we have multiple CTOs in back order with big data. We have no clue when they will arrive, because the information on InTouch is stating delivery lead time is 600 something days.
Okay.
So that's
okay. Just let me
that's
explain.
information that's not useful for us to communicate with our customers.
That's indeed. So just let me explain how CTO works with ETA within the tech data or InTouch order management. So when a CTO is ordered, you will get a lead time. The lead time is being calculated by our system, SAP, which calculates the delivery of the last same model. If that model isn't been created before, it will take, for example, a certain period of time. If this model has been delivered before, it will just see when it's ordered and when it's delivered, and the time between, he will give you that as a lead time. Once the devices are being sent to us, we're getting a reporting. The reporting calls finished goods. Finished goods will have an estimated time of arrival. And this report will be uploaded into your order management and will give you the time of arrival of Apple plus 5 days, because maybe there's a weekend between, maybe we still have quality to
Control,
check.
Yeah, okay, I understand, but on the other hand, just to give you one small example, we have ordered a CTO MacBook Pro 14-inch. Okay, it's the new model, but we have ordered it on the 20th of October, so we're almost 2 months later, and we still have no clue about the delivery date. We're almost 2 months later, so okay. I don't think that's acceptable to communicate to our customers. That even 2 months later, we don't even know when we may expect the device.
Yeah,
so
okay.
that's something which is tricky. Like Josse said earlier on. On the other hand, they look at other vendors, and they can configure a device, and they get an estimated date of arrival. I'm not sure if that's all correct, of course, but when it takes 2 months to get even an estimated delivery time, then I'm a bit worried.
Yeah.
Okay. What we can do about that, I don't know if you or just contact our Apple team, because they see the finished goods or internal sales. They also receive the reporting. They could look up the PO from us to Apple after you created the CTO, and they could see what's maybe about the lead time of the previous model, and if the device is already in production with Apple or not. And if yes, there will be a date in it, and they could give you those dates. This is something which has been set up automatically. There is a small gap in it, because it's uploaded, I think, once a week. I'm not sure, and we will get the reporting about 2 times a day. So they will give you more accurate information about that than that you can find on InTouch. But that's the only thing we can do.
I know this is a really tricky matter, right? Because we're all waiting for stock. We all know that there is a global shortage of supplies, and that delivery lead times are getting longer and longer. But on the other hand, at some point, we need some information, and that's why I've asked in the chat already a way we can get a better communication between us as a client and take data with Apple concerning the back orders. Even though it has a long lead time, it's okay, but no information at all, that's something I cannot live with. And I've been in contact with the Apple team at Take Data and asked them about an update about certain deliveries, and I'm just getting the same answer. We don't have any information. But then as a customer, I expect from Take Data that they will contact Apple and they will push some buttons to get some information that we can at least have some kind of information. And at this point, that's a bit worrying. And as I can see all the other feedback from other people in this meeting, they all are struggling with the same problem.
Yeah, of course. Apple is really not easy to have to work with in ATA. And the general problem is, for example, we have like almost 70,000 back orders on the iPhone 13 Pro Max. We're getting around maybe 1,000, but between this and next 2 weeks. So those are being shipped from China or Netherlands, from the productions or the warehouse in Netherlands, if they have stock, because that's the problem today. The European warehouses, they don't have stock anymore. That's big. That's also why the data is really difficult to have some kind of data about it. But if they are sent from China directly to us, we'll have an data about those products. They will come, like, for example, in batches of 100 pieces. And then we have to go to the order allocation tool where you see all the customers, and that will be like 70,000 back orders pieces, maybe 1,000 back orders. And then we have to check every order for every customer for every date. This can pass through. This not. This because the amount of every order is different, because the delivery time for every order is different, because certain customers have, for example, a block or have a certain problem. So we always have to do it manually. And because we are using the order allocation tool, I'm not saying that this is a good explanation for having non-ATA. I just want to give you an explanation why it's so difficult to have an ATA. And that's because we are doing it manually. So if you ask, for example, Patricia, I'm in need of a certain product, she could help you for a certain amount, for example, 1 or 2. But if you need for a kind of product and you need 10 pieces, she eventually would see how much are coming. Next week, 100. For the rest of the year, we don't see anything coming. There are, for example, 150 orders in front of you. What does she need to do? Does she need to do? We're going to allocate this one. Are we getting other customers first? And that's really the hard part for us as a distributors. There's so much back orders and there's so small amount incoming, and we are asking every week. There's a call with Apple Cork, and they are asking about we have like a proposition, we have an opportunity, we have to steal for this kind of, and they say, yeah, look, like we don't have really more information about this. Let me check if this is possible, if this is possible. But at the end, they also say, look, I think January will be better for iPhone, for iPads, and at this time we're also creating a deals tracker for the DPP. This means all the big orders together for iPad 9 generation, for iPhone, are being escalated to Apple also, but it's something which Belgium does, and I think France does it also. Other countries don't do it. And that's a new way of work, but also the question for Apple, they don't have a really good answer for us. So I think the best opportunity is to have a buffer on DPP, because if there are constraints, and it's a little less than now, it will be a benefit to you. But otherwise, I don't see a real good solution for this, because also the ARs and the APRs struggle with the same amount. The only thing they have a stock. Like Coolblue, when they order, for example, products, sometimes they have like stock for 8 weeks. APR the same. They order through Tech Data, maybe through Apple. They have much more opportunities, especially as they are Coolblue or, for example, Bol, because they have the Netherlands and Belgium. So they have 2 distries, which we with the DPP only have 1, and also other
so you're saying we should start shopping in the Netherlands?
That could be an opportunity. I don't think that a Belgian reseller could join a Tech Data. Could join the Tech Data Netherlands DPP program. You have to have your business has to be in the Netherlands. So and that's for example with Coolblue and Bol.com, they always have to see which share is Belgium, which share is the Netherlands, and sometimes they will get a better stock at, for example, Netherlands, because Apple is much bigger there. Netherlands is like 3 times as big as Belgium. So if they have stock, there's another stock supply coming, and there will be some devices which are especially from Tech Data Netherlands, or from also Netherlands, being given to also to put in the Belgian markets. And you could see, for example, sometimes on watch, when they sell it, there's always a Dutch explanation in it, where the Belgian SKUs are only in English. So I know it's not fair. It's not a fair competition, and I know about it, but my hands are tied, so it's really hard for me to do something about it. I think we can improve the ATA, as Josh said, with some kind of buffer for DPP, and we will discuss this in the next quarter, because I'm really keen of it, but I really have to push product management to have them by my side to do the same, because it's still a lot of work. We have to do a forecasting on DPP. We have to push every order manually to the virtual warehouse, and we have to maintain the stock on a virtual warehouse. Whereas the normal kind of business would be, you have a DPP reseller, it's in the order allocation tool, and you just push those orders, and the next day it's going to be delivered to you. So that's really easy for product management. The virtual warehouse will be a benefit to you, but it's a lot of work. So we really need to see some improvement on deliveries, where we can say, okay, we're going to set this up for DPP, so we can have a virtual warehouse who could benefit someone, and not which is empty. So but I like the feedback. Yeah, it's a really hard thing. I don't think you have you are anything with my explanation, because the problem still remains, but it's really hard for us. So
Hello, Christoph.
Maybe another question. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, hello, Bart speaking. Hello, Christoph. So, to back up Dennis, and your answer you gave us, I think the main issue we have is that we have to ask you guys for each product, what's the delivery time, and that's the biggest problem. We can't keep on checking on every product that we order with you guys to what's the delivery time each day or each week. That's the yeah, that's the biggest problem we have right now. And what's the view on the future for that? We can't keep working like this. It's not only Apple, I know. It's not only Apple. It's for a lot of brands right now. But if we have to do this for each product we buy with you guys, it's not workable for the next months.
Are there any distributors who don't have this problem with other vendors, which you can say, not if they have stock, but if there's a supply issue, but they can give you an ATA? Are there any vendors or distributors who could give you an ATA on their supply?
No, it's not only you guys. I don't say it's Tech Data only. It's Yamaha has the same problems, and but yeah, it's the problem that Dennis told. If you see a product, you don't know the ETA, and then the ETA is jumping from not announced to next week, and then it jumps from next week to February. That's a big issue, of course, because you already told your customer that it will arrive next week, and then it says next week it says okay, it's coming in February.
Yeah.
Yep.
Look,
the only thing at that point is that you can hope that when you look at the same configuration on the Apple website, it states that it will be delivered within 3 months or so. If it's stated on the Apple website the same way, then the customer believes us, because then you have some points, some proof that there is a constraint in the production of Apple hardware.
Yeah.
But for just one crazy example, I don't know what happens with the Apple Magic Mouse, for example, because when I want to order this on the Apple website, it's delivered tomorrow. And when I look at Tech Data, just out of the blue, there is no more Apple mouse available. There are 200 plus in back order, and there is no estimated delivery date.
Okay.
How crazy can it be for a Magic Mouse?
Yeah, and the same thing for adapters, for the new adapters, the 69, 79 watts and the 140 watt. So just let me explain how we work when there's out of stock. So if there's a hardware issue, you can rely on an estimation for the next 3 weeks from Apple. Yeah, you have to take in mind that there's a lot of back orders these days. Okay, so that means it's really hard to give an ATA. But for accessories, especially when there's no stock, the answer is simple. We have to see within finished goods if they are shipped from China or from an European warehouse. If there's none in the European warehouse, we can only there's only China where we can see where the products are coming from. As they are being shipped, I can give you an ATA about between 6 and 7 days, I think, when it's shipped to us. And otherwise, it's not possible. And that's really hard for us to give you an ATA on accessories. There's only 2 accessories. That's the Apple TV and the AirPods, which are really into the shipment file. And the shipment file, it gives us information about the next 3 weeks. So that will be that could be easier. But as you said, Magic Mouse, it's really not easy for us to give some kind of info because we don't receive it from Apple.
Yeah, Christoph, and what's the reason for the big jumping gap between the data? Why does it say sometimes it will get delivered next week and then it's in 3 months from now and then it's PO from vendor? The announcement on ETA is constantly changing, but not only a few days or weeks, but it's with months, and then it jumps back. Like now,
Yeah.
I've ordered an iWatch, so it should be ordered end November. It should be delivered end November. I'm sorry, and then it said February, and now it's for next week. So that's the most curious part of the case.
Yeah, it's because the most of the time InTouch especially doesn't see the finished goods or the shipment plans. It doesn't load them in. It's just an estimation with the old products, and if the dates come near, there's a new calculation within SAP which give you not an accurate information. It used to be accurate because if the supply chain is good, you can. It's almost right, but now there's, and also if we use the order allocation tool, which means, for example, we have 100 orders, and Apple tells us, there's this kind of deal which is really important. You have to allocate it, for example. Then all the devices will be covered by some kind of deal. As per InTouch says, like there's 100 coming next week, but you don't know nothing about this deal or nothing about our back orders. So this is really hard also for us to maintain. There's no easy way around it. That's and I know, I think the only thing we can do, and it's a really good idea from just to have some kind of buffer for DPP. So you will always see some kind of products available, and you can order them. But then the question is, if the supply is low, and we have, for example, 50 iPhones in the warehouse from a certain model, I think it will collapse again and be dry, but we have more revenue because it's only available for DPP. So some of you will benefit them, but for some of them you don't because the question can be the demand can be higher, for example, or there's no coming stocks next weeks, which means the virtual warehouse will be dry, and we will still have the same problem. So today it's I don't have the right solution, but we're thinking about it, but it's really hard for us to give you something to work with, and it's also for other vendors. It's also for retail because there's, if you, for example, you go to Coolblue and you watch, for example, iPhone. I did it like I think 3 times this week, and I could say there are always these mailing envelopes. Just inform me when you have stock with the most models. So it's not even for B2B, it's also for retail. So their stock is also dry. I think the opportunity would be, as I heard before from B2B, we should have some B2B models. We should have some B2B opportunities to work with, as other vendors do, like an HP, like in Lenovo. But it's the product management with Apple in the US, as we can do nothing about it. They are creating the lineup, so we can't. The only thing we are strong with DPP is Macs, and we know we have to forecast Mac for DPP a lot of more. But if the supply isn't good, we can give something to DPP because there's nothing coming. So Yeah. So I think CTO is the best opportunity because it's back to back. But as you said, it's also hard to get an ETA. You will get a lead time from the order date until the delivery date from the previous model, and the other thing is an exact ETA when it ships. But yeah, it's not that kind great, because if it's a new CTO, you can have, like, for example, 4 months or waiting on your delivery, and it's not the best lead time. It's not accurate info. So I'm just going to our product management with the ETA for CTOs. I think maybe we could change something about this. But I'll have to check. Maybe we can put a daily changements on the ETAs from our finished goods and upload them in the order management. That could be an opportunity, and otherwise, I don't think we have a lot to work with. So because we're all depending from the information from Apple, and they are depending from the information of their suppliers as well. So are there any other questions about supply, about accessories, about supporting you on some kind of way? Maybe the try and buy website, micro websites, mailing? Or people who want more support, more feedback? No?
Christoph, Bart again. What can we do for advertising in the DPP? Can we advertise something to sell Apple from displays or something inside the store? Because we're in the starter program for Apple, so we can't display Apple from the outside of the store. I read.
Okay, yeah, right. So you're meaning like a certain logo, for example, like you can have outside the building, so people know you're selling Apple.
Yeah, I read it's not allowed right now to do that in the DPP program, or in the starter program at least.
Yeah, it's because if Apple saw it, it's only for the Apple authorized reseller, and I think they're really making a point out of it. If you would do so, there's no kind of problem, but Apple will ask us to tell you to take it back. So I don't think it's the investment worth, because otherwise they will be saying they have to leave the program because they're not following the rules.
And from a standpoint from inside the store, is there something of rules that you must follow to display the devices, or
you can use everything from images except the Apple logo as an Apple authorized reseller, because there's a commitment between the distribution and the reseller. So it's the distribution partner program and not the Apple authorized reseller program. And that's why they don't use, they want to use the logo with DPP. There's only one thing, I think, that's becoming an Apple consultancy, Apple consultant. If you are an Apple consultant, you can use the Apple logo. That's the only way.
And what's the deal with that? Becoming a consultant, or how do we do that, or what's
some
behind
conditions.
that?
Yeah, you have to fill in an application with Apple, and they have to see if your enterprise or your business plan is good enough to be an Apple consultant, and afterwards, within those conditions, you could use some kind of marketing and logo for Apple. But I think I'm just going to see if I have the link to the website. One moment. Apple Consultancy Network. Voila. This will be. You're Dutch, yeah, Bart?
Yes, yes, yes.
So I wasn't the. Oop. I've asked Apple to give me some more support about the Apple Consultancy Network, and just give me the site. So, but if you would like to more about it, I could set up a meeting with him and just see what's interesting, or maybe a webinar for those who are interested. I just have to see if always the webinars are big enough to have some more information to tell you something about. Okay. But for the rest, there's a lot on marketing materials on the website. If you would like, for example, price tags, for example, if you would like images from Apple, we can give you access to a certain amount of images you would like to use from iPhone to Mac, or from Apple. So you can use them at your own way, and you can just not edit them. So if you would like to use them, you will always have to use the way that Apple gives you the photos and the images. And at that point, you can maybe go to an acrylic stand and just put something in that, or maybe talk about the new M1 and just make a folder or something out of it. I don't know. So that could be a solution. But really, the Apple logo, yeah, that's hard. Are there other people?
Thank you.
Are there other people who would like to more something about the Apple Consultancy Network? I think Dennis, you are in the Apple Consultancy Network. Yeah, you're an Apple consultant.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
So,
do you think there's any benefits for you using the Apple Consultancy Network?
For us, yes, but maybe that's mostly because we are focusing on Apple services and not so mainly focused on selling Apple hardware. So I think if you're if you're mainly focusing on selling the Apple hardware like iPhones, iPads, and Macs, etc., I don't know if the Apple Consultant Network is the right place to be, because it's more for service providers. But if you're focusing on supporting and installing and consultancy of Apple products within businesses, then it's a good place to be, because it's not only like Nolan mentioned, it's not that you're just paying for the logo, but there are some requirements that need to be in place to become an Apple consultant from the technical perspective, like for MDM solution, Wi-Fi solution, etc., etc. So before you can become an Apple consultant, you need to be certified with all those requirements.
Yeah, but I think that's the position we want with the DPP resellers. It's not moving boxes as retail does. Is just to have several verticals within your corporation, which allows you to jump out those with those other B2B resellers or versus retail, with your services, with your solutions, with your implementations that you could offer to your customer. So that's really up to you. But there are also customers who have just a certain customer relation which is a need for Apple because of their relation with those customers. So that's also really nice to have. But I think if you don't want issues with pricing or margins, it's really are really needed to take the whole story with Apple and see what you can offer with those services. I think, yeah, Dennis, you're the best example of that. There are also others who offer their own kind of plan to their customers, and I think that's really the way to go. And Effort is really looking for that, because the DPP program was really started because there were too many Windows, Chromebooks, and several other things in SMB, and there was no way to push Apple or to set Apple aside as products. And Apple is saying there's a movement with choose your own and bring your own device to work, and we're seeing retail is getting segmented, is getting overlooked at. So they're low year on year, quarter by quarter. Retail is lowering their Apple revenue, and we're seeing growth on B2B. And this is why we need to focus on the right DPP partners as you, so we can offer you the tools to implement. And this is also why we have Tech Data as Renew. So you can exchange products and do something with it. This is why we also have leasing formulas. This is why we also want to implement some kind of training for you. Maybe it's an Apple training. Maybe we can do something with LearnQuest. Maybe we can. Maybe you don't know LearnQuest. LearnQuest is also an Apple consultant. I'm right, Dennis, and they also give training for Apple to all authorized resellers, for example, in the US. So that could also be an opportunity. But maybe you want
have to
your
pass
own.
by LearnQuest. I think one of the requirements that is needed to be an Apple consultant is that you have people in place who have passed the macOS Support Essentials exam. And LearnQuest is the party used by Apple to organize those exams.
Voilà. So I think this could be an opportunity for example, as Dennis said, macOS or Support Essential. When you like to know something about servicing those customers who you have, if you sell a Mac, could you implement some more services? For example, doing a one-to-one with your customer, installing a certain package of Windows, of a Parallels, of a Bootcamp, of a virtual machine, offering some kind of cloud solutions. This is something that builds up strengths within your business and set you aside those other customers with a really unique proposition. So are there any other questions? Examples?
Christoph, maybe one question about the leasing offering, the Tech as a Service. One of the questions I get quite often, and maybe other people in the call as well, is to have an additional insurance included in the monthly pricing.
If it's possible.
Yeah, if we can add this. And this is a question I've asked your colleague who is in charge of, Sandra, some months ago, and she was trying to get an answer on this question, but until now, I have no feedback about this.
Okay. Okay. I'll have to check. I'll have to check it. because we have two kind of solutions. We have tech as a service, which are implemented into the InTouch when you can see you're ordering a product and you see it's, for example, an iPhone 13, you pay 18 euros per month for the coming 36 months. The other thing is HPAFS, which give you some kind of a better value for your model that you want to buy, which tells you eventually that it's a better price per month. And maybe we could have a solution with one of those. So it's not always if TAS isn't the right solution, we can still offer you a leasing through HPAFS. So we'll have to look at. I'm going to write it down and then I'll get back to you about it. So insurance, but because insurance is one thing, but you can offer your own if you want your own service within the TAS solution, but that you're aware of, I think.
Yes, of course, we're aware of. But what the question is that we're getting from customers is just an additional insurance when they have accidental damage, etc., and they want it all included in one fixed monthly fee, which I can understand. And I know that there are solutions out there that are offering this, but I think those solutions are limited to the Apple premium resellers and maybe the authorized resellers as well. But it's not available to DPP.
Look, it's the same problem again because we're Belgium and we're a small country. Because in Netherlands, for example, they have Apple Care Protection Plus, which gives you a kind of solution for this matter, and then we can get them to into the TAS formal. So that could be an opportunity. But then again, when is Apple Care Connect Plus coming? So I don't know. But do you want to use your own insurance, or do you want to take data to get an insurance within the portal?
Well, yeah, actually, the second one, to have the insurance offered by Take Data or the partner you are using to offer the leasing, the HP, or on the other hand, it's DLL. I'm not mistaken. That they are offering the insurance just as an additional option when you're calculating your monthly fee, that you're stating for, okay, we have, for example, 5 MacBook Pros, we already have 5 Apple Cares just to have the additional factory warranty, we have some accessories, etc. And at the bottom line, I would like to have additional accidental damage insurance for these devices, and then I will pay X euros a month extra to have this insurance. And this is what DLL is doing with Apple Financial Services, which is offered to the Apple Premium resellers. So I don't know if is DLL not willing to offer this, to have a difference between the DPP program like we are in and the Apple Premium resellers, or is there what can be the reason? But because I think that it doesn't seem so hard to implement because it already exists, but maybe there's some other reason we don't know.
Yeah, I'm not in contact with DLL, Sandra is, and Cedric, so I'll ask them today. I'm meeting Cedric and Sandra later this day, so I'll have a chat with them if it's possible, and we'll get back to you. So,
thanks.
I'm just going to see if there's some kind of question about in the chats. If there's any questions.
Just like to add that the CTO configuration tools which you mentioned earlier on the InTouch, it's beautiful. It works great. So if it's good, I would like to tell as well.
Okay, but that's nice feedback. I know it's not really so simple as I imagined, because you have to work with an entry model, and it's you always have to get the French national /AZERTY, so the FN/A at the end of the model, because you can't make a Quertsu. So for your the DPP partners from Luxembourg, you can't cover a Luxembourg model and make a CDO out of it. So for example, if you wanted to buy the 16-inch, you have to fill in, for example, MacBook Pro 16-inch, and you will have to see MK 183 FN/A, click on it, configure it, and then you will see.
Change the the keyboard layout.
Yeah, and then you can change Quertsu, and then you can see, and it's also a little bit tricky when you use the Pro. For example, if you have the M1 Pro and the M1 Pro Max, you really have to see this the memory storage, because the Pro is always configured with 60.
The difference in cores as well with the M1 processors.
Of course.
Sometimes you have 7 cores, then you have 8 cores, and you have to be very careful. But on the other hand, it works great. Once you have done it a few times, it works beautifully.
Yeah. And the advantage for our resellers is when you are configuring the CTO and you are buying this through the portal. We have a template set out, so the PO will automatically be filled in by SAP, and we have a special program who runs this template within the Apple portal, who is connected with an API, and just fills out the correct CTO, just gives the order through the same day, and it's done. So otherwise, we have like our internal Apple sales who says like, this is the offer. Would you like a quotation? Okay, it's good. I'm going to implement this in the system. Okay, procurement. Do you want to order this SKU? And they will have to go to the Apple website, and then they have to fill everything in. So we have 2 human errors deleted in this whole process. Eventually, there could be a human error when the CTOs are not set up correctly from the beginning, but it's so much better now. It's really, but thanks for your feedback. I think the CTO is really the B2B, the DPP, where we could focus on, because Mediamarkt, Van den Borre, Fnac, Krevel, they don't have this. And if the customer wants something, they can't see a CTO configuration on a website, and they don't have the opportunity also to cross-check this on the internet. So it gives you an advantage on pricing, and this is also one of the things why CTO Coolblue. I think it was the last 2 years they've done something about those Macs, because MediaMarkt is very aggressive in the retail markets. They also is always changing pricing, and then you have Fnac and Krevel who do the alignment. Even Coolblue does the alignment sometimes. But now they are offering, the last 2 years, I think, the CTO models, and they are not price sensitive. So that just thinking out of loud, could CTO buffer be an advantage to you? Do you think you could offer a certain amount of CTO to your customer? Do you think that could be a solution?
It's all depending on the customer. That's why it's CTO. If we have a certain amount which we can offer to a customer, then it's just the standard model. Yeah. It's not CTO. So for CTO, it's very difficult, because one day you will sell a maxed out 16-inch MacBook Pro. The other day you will sell a new iMac with just a RAM upgrade, etc. So that's not predictable. That can't be done.
I will have a look at the data, and I'm just going to see if the DPP results, for example, from the Wallonie, maybe they are the same as Flanders, and maybe we have some data to play with, and maybe if we, for example, have 5 CTOs per week, I don't think we will have that. of a certain model, maybe we can use a buffer with this. I'll have a look. I'm not really sure, but yeah, as you said,
then Apple is changing the specs, and then you are stuck with 4 or 5 CTOs which are not current anymore.
Well, normally that's our own mistake then. But normally, if we start with a CTO virtual warehouse, we have to have some kind of commitment. But I'm only thinking loud out just to see if if we could be more helpful in it. So maybe, because normally we see in the supply drop when new models are coming. So we'll have some news in front of a presentation or a keynote of Apple when the new products are announced. So I just have
maybe
to see.
I would like to discuss this further on with you, but maybe with not in this meeting, because then it will lead us way too far. Maybe some other people still have some questions pending. So.
Okay. Johalsen, I've asked to follow required training for Apple Seeds. I never received any information. Yeah, that's right, Johalsen. I'm just going to give you some. Are you still in the call? I don't see you. Yeah, I think. I don't see it. Are there any other people who are still having some problems with Seed? Questions, no answers. Okay, just let me share my screen. If you're recording, so voila, it's only for DPP. The other thing you could do, if you don't see the bannering, because we have a lot of bannerings, you just type in Apple DPP. Voila, then you click on it. The other part is training. So if you go to the training, you will also have access to Apple Seed. So Apple Seed is here. Just have to click on it, and then you have to register. Afterwards, you get a link. You can get through the link as, for example, seed sales. I think seed sales of Apple, or you can download the application to work with. Apple is based on the continuity of taking the app with them, but it isn't mandatory for DPP. What is mandatory for DPP is the SMB collection, or KMO in Netherlands, and I don't know the name in French, but I know it's another. Maybe Nolan, could you help me out? What's the name for in French? Okay, maybe Nolan left the room.
Can you repeat what's your question, Christophe?
So you have small businesses, and I'm searching for the words in French. I don't know how it's.
PME, PME, petite entreprise.
Okay, ça va. Merci.
Do you want the name in seed directly? The name of the category, maybe?
Yeah, if it's not the same.
In seed, I need to update the application. Cool.
So,
I will write chat. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Nolan, for your support. So what's really important for Apple to do, as well as with other distribution, they have asked us to go to the small business and to do all courses with the small businesses. They think we can do better at providing trainings, and also push our partners to have some basic knowledge about Apple. And this is why every incentive in the near future will be covered with the condition or which will be mandatory, is the small business of seeds. So this is really important for you to do if you want to join the seed program. If you do everything, it's also fine. But Apple is giving us the information per customer which has been done, which customer has done the small medium business, or which or who don't. So they keeping track of your score. So if there would be eventually be a way to get to the authorized status, but because that's the program for. This will be the opportunity to show to Apple that you're willing to go to.
Christophe, can I ask a small question, please?
Yeah, of course.
Yes. I already have done the DPP, the Apple Seed, when I worked with an APR, but that was on an email address of the APR. So I lost all of my Apple Seed progress. Now I already have an SMB seed for, I think, 99% with also, but I have to do it again for tech
No.
data.
No, because
So
everything is connected to your email.
well, it's not because I think with also it's on a special email address of also themselves.
Yeah,
so
but that doesn't matter because
okay.
There's one group
Mhm.
of DPPs because your all customers ID are linked with also
Yes,
or through tech
okay.
data with
Okay.
with the customer Apple ID, and this is being filled in Seeds. When you are joining the Seed program, Apple will give all the information only about the customers who are
Yes.
with those distributors, and they will give the information about Seed.
Okay. So it's not tied to the email address
no,
only.
No.
Okay.
No,
Thank you very much for the explanation. Thank you.
Yeah, I know
Thanks.
it's hard. The other question would be, you worked with an APR or an AR, and you had an email address, and you worked with Seeds. You cannot transfer any
Yes.
data from the other company
No,
to the new, and that's really hard.
Yes, because
also
I
for tech data,
yeah.
I had the
spent a
same
lot of
problem.
time. Yes.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know. Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Yeah,
Thank
but
you very much.
you don't have to do it all. So it's really the small medium business. Maybe there are other incentives which also maybe say like you have to do it all, and then will have this incentive. Maybe there are other incentives with also, but yeah, at this time for tech data, it's only important that